The Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom poster came about on a Friday afternoon. I was called by the art director and they said they needed a whole new painting done by Monday. So I finished it. I had some real late nights and I got it done and I turned it in on Monday. It was accepted right away with no changes or anything. They went straight to press with it. I didn't think in terms what would happen in the future when these things would be worth money. And so I had it in a crate, and years later, I had a little girl, 5 years old. She's holding her piggy bank up to me like this. And she says, "Daddy, I know a little girl that wants to buy a painting." I go, "Well, which painting is that?" And she said, "It's the Indiana Jones painting." I said, "Well, it is in a crate downstairs. Tell you what, how much money do you have?" So she emptied her piggy bank and it was 93 cents. I said, "Okay, it's yours now for 93 cents. I wrote her name on the back of the painting. And she was happy. Then years later, she is a sophomore at Washington State University. And I get a call from a movie broker house. And I said, "We understand you did movie posters back in the day." And I said, "Yes." And I told them the ones that I had. And I said, "I don't own this painting, but I do have access to the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom original art." And they just almost soiled themselves. Said, "We've been looking at that for years. We didn't know who did it. And everything else has been bought by George Lucas and Rathold over at Skywalker Ranch except that one." And I said, "Well, let me call her, the owner, and see if the owner would want to part with it." So I called my daughter, it might be sentimental, and she says, "Sell it." I was in college after all. And so I sold it and sold immediately, and she made a very good return on her 93 cents. Her mother said, "Are you going to kick some of that back to your dad?" And she said, "I already gave him his 93 cents.